Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the rising gas prices and what this could do to the new and used car market in the short term and the long term. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So we are yet again talking about gas prices. I know, it seems like this topic's just going to get old at this point, but we need to talk about how this is going to potentially affect the new and the used car market and what you should do as a buyer to basically protect yourself. So first off, we have to talk about two different potential situations, right? So we have the first situation, which is that gas prices are high, but they're not going to be high for that long. They're going to come back down and, kind of go to more normal level. Well, new normal levels. Gas prices have increased substantially since, everything dropped in 2020. But, more normal than what we're experiencing right now, instead of the $7 a gallon that you're getting in like California, for example. So if this lasts for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think it's going to change things all that much. There could be a little bit of pullback from certain buyers, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but I don't think it's going to be a large enough pullback to really affect values too much. Now, there is the other thing that could happen where this is way more long-term, where gas prices stay high for months or potentially even a year, right? There's, again, so much uncertainty with everything that's happening over in Europe. We don't know how long that's going to last for, and there's all sorts of things going on politically and everything. It's just all a mess. We don't know how long everything's going to last for. But again, if it is longer term, then that's where I think there could be a pretty big shift with the new and used car market, and that's what I want to talk about mainly in today's video. So if this lasts longer term, then what we've seen in the past is buyers go and buy smaller cars, they buy more hybrids, just cars that get better fuel economy, and they stay away from larger vehicles, larger SUVs, larger trucks. And so what you see in a market like this where gas prices stay high for a longer period of time is truck and SUV values decline, large truck and SUVs decline, and then values of smaller cars increase, and demand for those increases as well. And so here's some things that you can do to get ahead of this if you're worried about this happening, is take advantage of the higher trading values that are happening right now. Because we're in a situation right now where vehicle values are crazy. They're as high as they have ever been. And so right now you could actually get top dollar for your truck or your SUV. The values haven't been impacted by the situation yet. Yes, there has been a slight decline in wholesale values over the last couple of months, but it's been very small. The government just released the CPI report today, and new and used car values have slightly gone down, but it's a very, very small percentage. We're still up by like 40%, since last year, basically. So if you're really worried about your car's value, then this is the time to get out. And then on top of that, if it's something where it comes down to affordability, where you're going to struggle to afford to keep gas in your car, then again, now is the time to get out while your car's value is at the complete ceiling, right? And then you won't have to worry about anything. But on the flip side, right, it is a catch-22 where this could be very short term. Gas prices could come down, and then you just went and sold your car for no reason. So there is potential for that. You're going to have to kind of weigh the risks yourself depending on your budget and all that. And so what I have to say is I'd kind of split people up into different groups. Again, if these increased gas prices are heavily affecting your household budget, then yeah, it's definitely something to consider. And like I said, since the values are high, take advantage of that. But since we've had a K-shaped recovery after the whole COVID thing and everything, there's two completely different buyer bases right now. If you guys aren't familiar with what a K-shaped recovery is, basically what happens is you have a really bad situation and everything goes down, and then the situation starts to improve for a certain group of people, but it doesn't improve for another group of people. And that's exactly what happened after the pandemic. You had a certain group of people that started making way more money than they've ever made before. And then you had another group of people that were just absolutely struggling to get by. And it's definitely split things up quite a bit from a vehicle market perspective. And so the reason I'm talking about this is if you own certain vehicles, it might not make sense to just go and sell them because you think that the values are going to decline a massive amount. And the vehicles I'm talking about are more expensive vehicles. And again, this is just my personal opinion based on what I've researched. specialized vehicles, more expensive vehicles. So like you guys know, I own a Ram TRX, Ford Raptor, and Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 right now. All of those vehicles are gas hogs. So a lot of people are like, hey Ben, your vehicles are gonna take a huge hit in value. But the thing is, the people that are purchasing those vehicles aren't really affected by gas prices all that much. Again, with the K-shaped recovery and everything, you have people that have way more money than they've ever had in the past. And so with these higher gas prices, it's more of an annoyance rather than a huge detriment financially, right? And so depending on what you own vehicle-wise will determine what you should do. And again, this is just, I want to put that key point there. This is just my personal opinion. If you own more specialized stuff, I think it's worth keeping, because the people that can afford to buy your vehicles now will be able to afford to buy your vehicle a year from now, 2 years from now. It doesn't matter what the gas prices will do, really. And I want to throw out some statistics here to really hit this home. So right now, and this has actually increased a little bit because this is as of 2020, about 30% of the U.S. population, or households in the U.S., make over $100,000 a year. And then about 15% make around $150,000, and then about 8.3% make around $200,000 a year. Now, with these increased gas prices, right, each of those segments will be slightly affected, right? It'll lower their buying power by a little bit. But depending on where they live, with the cost of living and everything, it might not be, again, a huge detriment. So if you think about it, the average person drives about 12 to 15,000 miles a year. Some people are, depending on the state they live in, everything will have higher mileage amounts. But that means that for a lot of these households, right, if they're driving that amount with these increased gas prices, they're going to go from spending, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a year on gas to maybe it's going to jump up to, $3,500, $4,000 a year, which sucks. But if you're making $100,000 a year and you have to spend another $1,000 in that year, is that really going to change things all that much for you from a budget perspective? And especially if you're making $200,000 a year, which is over 8% of the household population now. And so the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of people in the US now that have a lot of money. And because there's a lot of people that have a lot of money, that means that this might not affect values as much as you'd think. These people are still going to keep buying stuff, and the market's shown that, because every single time we get bad news, every single time something happens, whether it's COVID, now we have war and all this stuff, the demand from a buying perspective within the US doesn't decrease. It just stays stable. And so I would definitely take that into consideration if you're thinking about just quickly liquidating everything and selling everything. It might not necessarily be worth it with just how much money people have and with the K-shaped recovery you have. And so yeah, that's pretty much going to sum things up for today's video. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this topic, and what your game plan is going forward, if you're planning on switching to a hybrid vehicle or an electric vehicle, or if you're just going to weather the storm and keep driving your big pickup truck, right? Kind of like what I'm doing. And with that being said, I'll see you.